Welcome back, guys, and race 2 is about to begin. Just quickly took a break so that we could have a separate download for each race, so that the drivers, when they watch it back, can quickly skip to the next race. So apologies for that if you thought that was a technical interruption. I probably should have said before I did it, really. There's just 55 seconds left to the start of the race, and race 2 should be interesting. Jack Keithley walked away with race 1, and the field will want to make sure he doesn't do that again. So Jack Keithley starting back in 8th position. Remember, the top 8 are reversed, so it'll be interesting to see exactly how that pans out. And obviously lots of drivers further back will have wanted to have started further forwards, but never is quite the way. So with just 15 seconds till the start of the race, we'll watch James Johnson and Yamakovic alongside him on the front row as they get away from the grid, and we'll look to the start to see exactly who can make up the positions early on. We look at the lights, we'll wait for them to go on, and when they go out we will be racing. And Johnson on the left, Yamakovic on the right. Johnson gets a good start, Yamakovic on his inside, and it's a great start from behind by Lorenzi. Lorenzi up into 3rd, and he's looking to get into 2nd position, and VR has made his way up into contention for 3rd. He's going to go around the outside of Lorenzi and does so, and will he be able to stick it out as they head onto the back straight? It's anyone's guess, and Horvat's there as well, as is Luffler, and the other Ninen's got pushed back a little bit, you would have to say. Lorenzi does slot back into 3rd, VR loses out, and here comes Luffler. Luffler's got a good run, VR looks to cover, and it's still, and Yamakovic on the inside of James Johnson, and James Johnson, apologies for that, James Johnson is looking strong as well, and he is moved back now into 3rd position, and he is unlucky. He's unlucky so far. He was in pole position, remember, as a result of the reverse grid, but he drops back into 3rd. VR in 4th. In 5th position you have Henrik Horvat, and behind that is it looks like Andreas Luffler still in 6th position. Apologies for the start, that was my fault completely. A little bit of a technical issue. Horvat though remaining in 5th with Luffler in front, and VR. Oh, and there's been contact from behind, and Via's round, and Via's going to drop back through the pack like a stone in water here, and he drops back to 12th, and he's going to be done by Bouquet and Visa Muller here as well, and a nightmare again for Via after a strong race 1, and this happened at Monza. Visa Muller's up the inside, don't hit Via again, he'll spin round and be even more angry, Visa Muller, and he thinks better of it, but Via down into 14th position. Oh, and there's huge contact there as well, and Bouquet's into the wall, and there was Gonçalves involved as well, and Butcher's up to 14th. Bouquet drops back, Jonas Lex dropping back, and Bouquet's dropping back big time here. He's got serious damage on that car. Visa Muller in 22nd. What happened there? What happened there? Yamakovic still leads from Lorenzi with James Johnson in 3rd position, and Henrik Horvat in 4th, Felipe in 5th position, Loeffler in 6th, Keithley in 7th, and there's a battle here going on between Jimmy Hughes and Zapazet, and in front of them is Javanainen, and he's in 8th. He hasn't made up any positions at all, and Via actually still looking reasonable. Actually, he's made his way back to 10th pretty quickly. Butcher's gained big time. Oh, and that's Jonas Lex nearly losing control off the corner. Butcher's up to 13th position, Tobias Olsen up to 12th as well, and Jack Keithley hasn't made any ground at all. He's only in 7th position. If we look back from Keithley towards Javanainen, and Andres Luffler in front of them in 6th position with Felipe in 5th. So Felipe has improved strong from his 9th position on the grid, and Felipe looking good. He's on the back of Horvat up front. James Johnson looking to recover the ground he lost after he took pole position as a result of the reverse grid, and in 3rd position now. So he's dropped back 2 positions from the start. Yamakovic looks strong. Emil Salberg left the game. I'm not quite sure what happened there. There was definitely a pile-up going on. So Salberg's left the game. Bouquet, oh, he's got huge damage. Look at that car. It looks almost undrivable. And I think those two may have come together. But Salberg was in strong contention for the championship. There's plenty of races left. Wiesenmuller, oh look, Wiesenmuller's lost the front bumper, the front clip of his car, and there's huge damage on that car. So he'll be lucky to fix that in time. And Vučković over the curbs as well. He's in 19th position. Amaral in 18th. Lex in 17th. In 16th is Tranj. 15th Romanov. And Gonçalves looks like he's lost the front clip of his car as well. He was involved in that battle. Sometimes it takes a short while for the damage to update. So he's obviously got front aero damage now. Chris Butcher in 13th. He's lost out to Zaprozets. And here's Tobias Olsen and VR making his way back through the pack. He's up to 10th. But look at the gap in front of VR. And we're looking back from Jimmy Hughes. Look at the gap back to VR. VR's got a lot of work to do. There is Jevanainen in 8th position. Jack Keithley in 7th. Luffler in 6th. Felipe Horvat. Lorenzi in 3rd. And he's creeping up to the back of James Johnson. James Johnson has got by Lorenzi. So Johnson is making progress back towards his original first position that he started the race in. And Lorenzi, unfortunately, for him, has lost out to Johnson, and Johnson will be pleased with that. It means he's got a target now in Nemakovic, and whether or not he can gain on him is another story indeed, because these two were behind each other, remember, in race 1, and Johnson was unable to gain fully on Nemakovic, so it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out. Mathieu Bouquet has left the game. He's obviously got far too much damage to repair on that Seat, so it's a shame for him that he was involved in that contact with Gonçalves and probably Salberg as they headed through the final part of the lap. Lorenzi bounces over the curbs. He's in 3rd. Horvath in 4th. Felipe is up to 5th, and he'll be pleased with that, and he's got Luffler for company. And Luffler doing a good job actually to be up in 6th position and avoid the mayhem. Felipe will be pleased with where he is, and you can see Jack Keithley not really making an impression like he did in race 1, so a bit of a shame for him, but we'll see what he can do over the next few laps. Once again, I haven't been paying attention on what lap we're on, so I will check further through the race and ask one of my Santa's little helpers to tell me what lap we're on. But right now, it's early stages in the race. I believe it's lap 3, but don't quote me on that one. And Luffler remains in 6th position. Keithley in 7th position. Jevanainen in 8th. Jimmy Hughes in 9th position. In 10th place is VR. 11th is Olsen. In 12th position Zaprozets. 13th Butcher. 14th Tranj. 15th Romanov. Gonçalves. Lex. Amaral. And Vučković in the Seat as well. The back of that pack. And finally coming through was Savu. And Savu in 20th position. Wiesenmuller a fair distance back in 21st. And the rest are retirees. So Nemakovic still leads. Johnson is a fair distance behind Nemakovic. You can see at least 15 car lengths there as they head up towards the Imola chicane. So Nemakovic doing an exceptional job there. Excuse me, it's not the Imola chicane, it's the end of the lap. It's the IC complex. But Nemakovic nonetheless still leading this race by a comfortable distance from James Johnson. And James Johnson is a comfortable distance now ahead of Lorenzi, but Lorenzi has Horvat for company, and that's not a pretty sight really, seeing Horvat in your rearview mirror. Horvat showed very good pace indeed toward the end of race 1. He's obviously very easy on his tyres, and he tucks it into the apex nicely, gets a run onto the back straight, and is in the slipstream of mate Lorenzi now as they head towards the Adelaide hairpin, as we ride on board with Horvat as he's right in the slipstream. And he's going to look to see whether he can pull out and make a move on the inside. He's having a quick look. Is he making a move? Oh, and Lorenzi's lost it under braking. Put a wheel on the grass, looked at the rears, and he's gone wide. He's down into 8th. He's behind Jevanainen, and he went sideways. Lucky to avoid huge contact with the wall. Only just managed to avoid contact with the wall. Bounced over the gravel, and Lorenzi, whilst concentrating on the attack from Henrik Horvat, has made his own mistake and dropped back through the pack, and Lorenzi will be kicking himself for that. And he's down into 8th, and further ahead Keithley and Luffler are battling with Helder Felipe, and Felipe alongside Luffler, and you can see Keithley in the background. Luffler's on the inside as they head into the fast chicane. Luffler bounces over the curves, but he takes the position away from Felipe again, and Felipe back in 5th position. Loeffler, and Yavanainen's there as well, and as is Lorenzi. So it's suddenly tightened up in the middle of the pack, and now Felipe all over the back of Andreas Loeffler, and it's one thing being on the back of Loeffler, it's another thing altogether passing him, and Felipe will find that out over the next lap or two, I should imagine. And you can see Keithley all over the back of Felipe. Helder Felipe, our championship leader before this particular round at Magny-Cours. Oh, and Keithley's on the inside, he's giving him a nudge. There a bit of door banging there, that could easily have put Felipe on the gravel. Oh, and Felipe's run wide, he's washed wide through the right-hander, and now Yavanainen's going to take him as well. So Felipe drops back into 7th position, and Jack Keithley now leads ahead of Yavanainen, leads in 5th position, I should say. And Yavanainen right in behind, he's almost bump drafting him along the straight, and they're going to make it 3 wide. Felipe's up the middle, and Yavanainen on the outside. Is he going to sweep around the outside of Keithley? No, Keithley blocks him off. Oh, and there's contact. Felipe into the side of Yavanainen as well, and now it's suddenly fireworks. And looking back from Keithley onto the back of Helder Felipe's car, and Yavanainen now behind Felipe. He's in 7th position, and mate Lorenzi's up there as well, and Felipe got a bit squirrely, and Yavanainen all over the back of him as well. And oh, and here comes Lorenzi as well. Oh, and Keithley's nearly lost it. Keithley's nearly lost it. Helder Felipe in 3 wide. They're 3 wide, and just about thinks better of it. But Keithley now is alongside Yavanainen. Who's going to lift? None of them are going to lift. Keithley alongside, and Yavanainen has to cut the corner, and Keithley runs wide, and Felipe says, "Thank you very much, I'll take that position from you," but Keithley takes it back with small contact, and Lorenzi's through. Lorenzi's through, and he moves up into 6th position. Yavanainen now in 5th, and Fia's joining the pack. It's suddenly kicked off, and Lorenzi's there, and here comes Fia. Fia up the inside, has he made it 6? Yes, he has. Felipe's getting mugged. He was in 5th, he's now in 9th. Look at this. Our championship leader before we started this round at Magny-Cours, he's now back in 9th position, and he won't want to let that one lie for too long. He's right into the back of Francisco Villa as they head through the first part of the lap, and now it's a right-hander onto the back straight, and it's anyone's guess as to whether he'll make a move into the Adelaide hairpin at the end, further ahead of us. And Keithley is onto the back of Lorenzi, and Lorenzi has let Yavanainen get a couple of car lengths now, you'd have to say, as we look back from Lorenzi onto Keithley. And look at this from Villa and Felipe. Felipe's right in behind Villa. He'll want to repay for what happened just now, and he got absolutely mugged. And Felipe in 9th, Villa in 8th, and it's suddenly calmed down a little bit as well. As soon as it flares up, it calms down immediately. And looking back through the pack briefly, while we've got a moment or two for me to soothe my sore throat, and Tobias Olsen is in 10th position with Jimmy Hughes, who was second in the championship last year, in 11th position. Behind them there's Zap Zetz and Richard Trand, and Chris Butcher still in 14th with Romanov behind him in 15th. And Romanov looking forwards from Romanov towards Butcher, and Trange is having a look at the back of Zap Zetz as well as they head towards the Imola chicane. And is Trange going to make a move? He's going left of Zap Zetz, and Zap Zetz sneaks back across and covers the line, and Zap Zetz holds on to the position. And what's Trange going to do? Trange gives him a nudge, and there's more contact between the two, and in fact Trange has pushed him wide as they head through the Lycée Complex, and Zap Zetz on the outside, and oh, and he nearly lost the back end there, and with a front wheel drive car that's a very mean feat indeed. But Zap Zetz loses out to Trange. Oh, and he's going to have a go at the inside. He's thinking about it, he thought about it, and he thought better of it, and that was good driving from Zap Zetz there. Jimmy Hughes has dropped off the back of Olsen further forwards. I don't know where to look. Felipe, and look at this, and Villa is all over the back of Lorenzi, and Lorenzi is worried, isn't he? You can see just by the body language he's driving. Oh, and Villa nearly putting Felipe onto the grass as they head down the back straight. This is upwards of 150 miles an hour. They're edging each other. Look at Villa, he wants to push across on Felipe, and Felipe thinks better of it and gives him back. Oh, and there's contact. Felipe's in the back of Villa, and Villa sideways, and what's happened to Villa? He's off, he's in the gravel. Villa sideways on the braking as a result of contact with Felipe in the gravel. He's going to recover, bounces over the curbs. He's back in 15th. He's behind Romanov and Butcher, And Francisco Villa's luck twice in this race. He's not getting any. Or he is getting all the luck, but it's all bad luck. And Villa down in 15th place, and you have to feel sorry for him. But that releases Felipe onto the back of Lorenzi, and they're battling over 7th. And Keithley's onto the back of Yavanen for 5th. And Loeffler, we should look at the leaders briefly, because Jemakovic still leads. Johnson still in 2nd position, and Horvat still in 3rd position now. And Loeffler in 4th. Yavanen in 5th, but he's going to soon be passed by Jack Keithley. It looks like Jack Keithley's all over the back of Yavanen as they head towards the Chateau d'Eu. And, Keithley sold him a little bit of a dummy there. He's hoping that Yavanenen's outbraked himself. Yavanen, too much of an old hand for that. So they head through the Lycée complex for one of the final times, I presume. I'm not quite sure where we are exactly in the race. I'll have a quick look now while it's just settling down. Somebody tell me, please, as soon as you possibly can, what lap we're on. Thank you. I'm sure you saw that. Right, back to the race. Let's have a look what's happening up front. So Jemakovic in 1st. In 2nd, it's James Johnson. Apparently we're on lap 8, so 3 to go. Excuse me. James Johnson. He's being harried. He's being harried. Here comes Horvat. He's up the inside. He's not up the inside. He just poked his nose in and hoping that Johnson will make a mistake, and he has done. Johnson's wide. Johnson's wide. They're going to go side by side. And whose corner is this going to be? They're still side by side. Horvat is on the inside. You'll see his car appear in just a second, I presume. Johnson's going to turn in. Oh, nearly contact between the two, and they just about get away with it. Horvat stays in 3rd, Johnson stays in 2nd. Johnson very wide indeed, but he sweeps back in front of Horvat and retains his 2nd position. Oh, it's excitement everywhere. And here's Keithley, and he's got by Yavanen. He has got by Yavanen as Jack Keithley. He's moved up into 5th position, so there's going to be a 5th and a 1st if he stays that way at Magny-Cours for Jack Keithley, and that would put him right back in the championship hunt. We look back at Yavanen now as they head through the Imola chicane and towards Chateau d'Eu, and Yavanenen's not going to give up on this one too easily, I shouldn't think, but you never know. Jack Keithley is a very strong character indeed, and Yavanen might be better off letting him go. Lorenzi is in 7th, a comfortable 7th. Felipe, the naughty boy of this race, I have to say, drop kicked VR out the way with a sort of fairly blatant late braking manoeuvre. I'm not going to put the total blame on him, but it did look like he just pushed VR out the way, and you just had to see just how far VR went off track to confirm that one. Tobias Olsen in 9th position, and now we're on lap 9, so just 2 laps left after this one, I believe, or 3. I can't add up. Jimmy Hughes in 10th position, Richard Tranch in 11th. Zach Brazet's there as well, and he's got Chris Butcher all over the back of him. Chris Butcher in 13th in the Chevrolet Cruze. He's battling with the Hondas of Tranch and Zach Brazet's, and Zach Brazet's is very squirmy indeed. He looks like his tyres have gone. Here comes Butcher. Butcher behind Zach Brazet's. He's in the slipstream, and he looks like he's gaining as a result of the slipstream. And he wants to make a move into the Adelaide hairpin. Zach Brazet's has gone defensive. Butcher's had to go to the outside. Romanoff's in behind as well, sniffing around for any incident that might occur, and Zach Brazet's had to go narrow as well. He's obviously braked a little bit too late. Here comes Butcher on the cutback. No, not able to do it. Zach Brazet's closes him off, and Zach Brazet's, you have to say, drove quite well actually out of that, and Butcher's just shoving his nose in there. It's never going to work, Chris. Surely you know that by now. And Zach Brazet's remains in 12th, Butcher in 13th, and Butcher desperate to get by. He's all over the back of him. He's in taking very different lines. These two well into their battle by now. I should think they've been battling for quite a while. You can just tell that Butcher is getting a bit desperate now. He's sending one up the inside of Imola. No! He didn't make that one stick through Imola. I don't think it was ever a move to make. He could send one up into Chateau d'Eu, but he thinks better of that one as well. And Trange is wide. Trange is wide, and here comes Zapazets up the inside. Thank you very much, and Butcher's there as well. Oh, and here Trange is walking across the track, walking Butcher onto the grass, and Butcher is trying to keep that overlap as they head towards the final part of the lap. Butcher, you've got to be careful you don't hit him. He's hit Zapazets, they're both wide, and through goes Trange, and through goes Romanov, and that was completely Chris Butcher's fault. Missed his braking point, and loses 2 positions as a result, and Zapazets won't be best pleased either, and contact there caused a huge loss of position. You can see the dent in the back of Zapazets' car, and Butcher's got it all to do all over again. Kind of a shame we caught that on broadcast, Butcher, but never mind. and you've just been called a noob as well, so I suggest you don't watch this back. But anyway, we'll head further forwards. Mate Lorenzi still in 7th. The Avanainen is unable to keep with Jack Keithley for 5th. Loeffler all by himself in 4th. Oh, and Horvath and Johnson look like they're having a squabble as well. And here comes Horvath up the inside. He's going to go up the inside of Johnson. There's door banging. And Johnson drifting, but unable to hold on to it. Horvath moves up into 2nd position. And, wow, Horvath, after his initial start, was in about 5th or 6th position. He's now in 2nd. And he's made up places on both of his races today. So he didn't have the overall pace in qualifying, but he definitely had the race pace here. And James Johnson loses out to Henrik Horvath, the Hungarian, for 2nd position. Bear with me while I soothe my throat. Horvath stays ahead of Johnson then, through towards the end of the lap. And he'll be looking to that for the rest of the race. But out front, Jemakovic has been completely dominant. And he has led the pack almost from the very first corner, and Jemakovic has put on a good show today, you would have to say. We're now on the last lap, I believe, and he looks strong. Horvath has taken Johnson for 2nd, as I was saying, Loeffler in 4th, and we're going to look for a battle on the final lap before going back. Oh, here's the battle. Butcher up the inside of Romanov. Romanov sideways. He's got surely not going to hold on to that. Yes, he does. Oh, wow. And Romanov just about kept his foot in it, made sure he saved it, but Butcher, as a result of that, moves up into 12th. Richard Trans is long gone, and Butcher obviously caught the back end of that move, and obviously was alongside Zapazets, and Romanov lost out. Savu in 15th, Amaral in 16th, Vučković in 17th with Lex, and the recovering Gonçalves. Look at the damage on his car, it's so unfortunate for him. Wiesenmuller just starting another lap, the final lap for him. He's in 20th, and he's the last of our runners actually, Robert Wiesenmuller. Jemakovic though, imperious up front. Horvath has pulled a gap on Johnson. Loeffler by himself. I'm just cycling through the field, desperate to look for a little battle if we can find one. I don't think we are going to be able to. So I think we've actually had enough this race. It's sort of made up for that. Oh, and Butcher very wide indeed. I don't know quite what's happened there. Obviously bumped over the curbs and got it sideways, had to correct. It's a bit of a shame for that, that we don't have any battles, but I tell you one person who won't be thinking it's a shame, and that's this guy, Yegor Jemakovic. He's got his lights on, he knows he's done a good race here, and he knows that he's going to cross the line and take a win in Season 8 of the Race Department Touring Car Championship. He flashes his lights, excellent drive from Jemakovic. He takes the win from Horvath, with James Johnson in 3rd, Loeffler in 4th, Keithley in 5th, Loeffler in the wall, Avanainen in 6th, Lorenzi in 7th, Felipe in 8th, he'll be investigated I'm sure after the race, Jimmy Hughes in 10th position, solid run to 10th, Richard Trange in 11th, Butcher in 12th, FIA obviously left the game. Butcher, what are you doing? Why are you coming into the pit lane now? You do realise it's the last lap, don't you, Chris? Romanov's going to beat him to the line, isn't he? He does. Romanov beats him to the line, as does Savu, as does Amaral. Butcher must have had a stop-go. He's down into 16th. He's going to be in 17th. He might be in 18th. What happened to Chris Butcher? He crossed the line in 16th eventually. Chris, my friend, must have been that cut on that final lap. Dropped down into 16th position. He's left the game as soon as he possibly can. So has Pedro Amaral. But in the end, it was too easy for Jemakovic, and he takes the win. And he's the second of our winners today. Jack Keithley took the win in the first race, and an excellent result for him. And I'll see if I can grab a word with one or two of the drivers, and I'll just see if I can pull one or two of them in. Could do with a bit of help from any of the viewers. Would be nice. But there doesn't appear to be too many actually prepared to do an interview with me today. So I hopefully they decide to turn up. But it doesn't look like they're going to, which is a shame. So apologies for that. But Jack Keithley and Jemakovic are two race winners today. They'll both be pleased with their results, pleased with their driving. Keithley won the first by a country mile. Imakovic did the same in race 2. And obviously it completely shakes up the championship order, and I'm afraid I don't have enough brain power to figure out where everyone finished and add up all the points and so on. But certainly it's going to shake up the championship order a great deal, and we'll be looking to get 1 or 2 of the drivers in for an interview as soon as we can. And I believe we've found someone in the commentary booth now. So hello to Jack Keithley, race 1 winner. A little bit different in race 2, wasn't it, Jack?
Certainly was, but man, that was so much fun.
I have to say, it looked brilliant fun on the broadcast. I spent 3 or 4 laps in full pitch screaming mode and swapping positions back and forth, trading paint. VR got drop kicked out in the end. Did you see much of that bit?
No, I just saw behind me. I didn't see anything about what happened to him.
Yeah. So you pleased with your race 1 win?
To be honest, I'm more than pleased, because before today I've done basically no testing on Australia at all. Last time I did was over a week ago, and to come out first race with a win, I was chuffed to bits, but I really was. And really, well, this is my last race of GT Mega, so I just want to say, I hope this is a good farewell to you guys. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Well done, Dak, and you've certainly given them a good send-off with that win and that fantastic battling we saw, especially with Javanainen. So congratulations, Jack. We've also
Thank you very much.
No problem. We've also got with us Chris Butcher, who we saw battling away with Romanov and 1 or 2 others in as well. Zap Prozet's in amongst them. Talk us through that battle, Chris, because you eventually came out on top. And then what happened on the final lap?
In the first chicane, I ran wide. I let off the throttle, and it still gave me a cut, and that was the 3rd cut in the race, and then Stockwell penalty.
So you served it on the final lap and ended up dropping from I think it was about 12th or 13th to 17th, I believe, in the end.
16th, but yeah, I felt a bit hard done by that, really, to be honest, seeing as I didn't gain any time over it, but you know, that's how it goes. Unfortunately,
that's how the game works, and it doesn't like people who cut the track. And unfortunately, Chris, you did it 3 times, so that's the way it goes.
Well, it was never intentional.
Of course. Of course, it's never intentional, and we saw a lot of these penalties at Monza catch a few people out, none other than Francisco Villa. So it is a rule that is in place, I think, not necessarily for leagues, but more for perhaps the online racing, the open servers. But it's in place for this league, and you've got to be careful. It's a shame, Butch, but unlucky. But you provided us with some good entertainment nonetheless.
Cheers.
James.
Yeah.
Just talk us through race 2.
Well, I just went for P8 in race 1, and then I had P1, and then the setup kind of held up just long enough to stay in 3rd. Really, I just had a ton of understeer for most of the race.
Yeah, a lot of the BMWs looked like they were struggling with understeer. I think obviously you've got to set the car up with understeer to protect the rear tyres, but do you think it was set up, or do you think it was just the way the track went, or what?
I think it was mostly set up. I didn't really get a lot of time to build a proper setup, so I just took one of my old ones and went with it.
Well, fair enough. You did very well indeed. Obviously, you took pole position. You couldn't quite match the pace of your Imakovic though today.
Yep, he was very quick.
He was indeed. So, and he was in race 1 as well. We saw you behind him in race 1 and unable to catch him. So
I was kind of holding up to him in race 1, and then I just dropped away.
Yeah, that's what it looked like in race 2 as well. So, commiserations for not capitalising on pole position in race 2, but well done nonetheless.
Yep, thank you.
And finally, we've got Robert Wiesenmuller with us. Just want to say I plugged you twice in the broadcast, saying thank you for the spotters guide. It's one of the most helpful tools in the world.
Yeah, I've added the point standings now also to the spotter guide in these gray boxes. So when you're wondering who has got how many points, you can look it up also in the spotter guide.
There we go, people. A bit of inside information. I had actually noticed those numbers. Took me about 5 minutes to work out what they meant.
Okay.
Actually, but in the end, I did realise. So, yes, for this round, you would have seen that Helder Felipe was leading with 129 points before the round. Yeah. So anyway. Enough of the admin stuff. Talk about what you really came here to do today, and that was the racing. We saw you at the back of the pack in race 2. I presume there was an incident that we missed.
Yeah, I think in the second lap there was an incident in the last chicane, and I think Emil Salberg spun around, and I had absolutely no chance to avoid him because I didn't see him, and I absolutely smacked into him. I had suspension damage and lost the front bumper, and so my race was over.
Yeah, we saw 1 and 2 drivers actually drop out as a result of that incident, or at least drop to the back of the pack. Selberg was one. Gonsalves as well was involved. Bouquet as well, I think. I don't know whether it was the same incident, but it was certainly there was 1 or 2 incidents going on in race 2. Race 1 was relatively calm though, wasn't it, from your perspective?
Yeah, I was trying to catch the BMWs, but it was absolutely impossible. I thought maybe I had more chances in Magny-Cours with the front-wheel driven car to catch the BMWs, but it was absolutely impossible, at least for me. And I was really happy with that. And I think I have to apologize to Emil Solberg because I kind of pushed him out of the way when I overtook him. Otherwise, it was a good event. 10th position is okay. Always a second race. Also on Monza,
yeah,
I Monza
didn't go too well either in second race, but commiserations for race 2. That was Robert Wiesenmuller, our resident spotter guide creator, I suppose, and he was apologising to Emil Solberg, and we'll get the reaction now from Emil. So, Emil, you came into this round second in the championship. Obviously, felt good after 2 good results in Monza. What happened?
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I didn't have the pace today. I practiced quite a bit and had good pace in practice, but just couldn't pull it together. But I mean, race 1 was good, fairly good. I mean, I had a good fight with Robert and no hard feelings there. I mean, I hardly remember what you were talking about. But then again, in race 2, I got pushed into the wall that's 90 degrees towards the track. Out of this last chicane, which made me sort of stop and spin, and I threw myself onto the escape button, but it was already too late.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's not your day, is it? Sometimes, not you personally, but just as a driver, and you can have all the pace in the world, just nothing falls into place, and I know those all too well myself, and you must be looking forward to get this ridiculous French track out of your mind and move on to the next round, right?
Yeah, it's not turned out all that well this weekend, but I mean, I'm looking forward to the next race, and I think it's gonna produce better results for me. But I'm just a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I think you deserve to be a little bit disappointed. It's a shame for you because you came in obviously second in the championship. You're not going to leave second in the championship, unfortunately. But thank you for joining us, guys. And thank you, viewers, as well, for joining us on this for this broadcast. And it's been exciting watching. We saw Jack Keithley take the race 1 win and Yamakovic take a race 2 win, and it's anyone's guess as to where the championship standings will be as we head into the next round at Brands Hatch. Join us then. It's going to be wet racing. Thank you for watching.